Sorry, nandiyan na pala kayo. You caught me in the middle of reading this article. Hindi ito ang topic natin, pero medyo interesting lang. Bishop forbids Jesuit run school from calling itself Catholic for flying LGBT and Black Lives Matter flag. So, nung 2022 to sa US, pero hindi ito ang topic natin. Okay, simulan natin ng spiel sa intro. Ano nga ba yung intro natin? Oh, welcome to the J. Ruga Show, the first conservative podcast in the Philippines. We're protecting the Filipino family from woke ideology. Ano ang topic natin today? Well, babasahin natin ang galing sa Ateneo. And maliit ito, babasahin ko na lang yung some parts nitong uh, memo na to from Ateneo, from statement from Ateneo. So for better, for worse, on the divorce bill in Congress. So sabi dito, the absolute divorce bill. And while I read this, while I read some parts of it, I'll give my thoughts. Okay, I'll interact sa statement na ito. So sabi dito, the absolute divorce bill is a public policy issue, not a theological one. Ako, in my since 3 years ago, the moment I started speaking about the divorce bill, hindi ako nagbibigay ng theological arguments. And tignan niyo yung mga past episodes natin. Ang mga title nito is Secular Arguments Against Divorce. And may iba, actually yung second episode is More Secular Arguments Against Divorce. So yeah, I agree. It's not a theological issue, although I'm happy that the church is speaking out on this, because 3 years ago when I started talking about the dangers, the evils of divorce, I medyo aaminin ko may konting tampo ako sa simbahan. Parang nasan kayo? Pinag-uusapan na yung divorce dito sa Kongreso, sa House of Representatives, sa Senate, pero bakit hindi pa rin tayo nakakadinig ng anything from the church? And it's a welcome response. I very much welcome na nagsalita ang simbahan dito. Although, hindi nga lang theological argument lang ang usaping divorce. Of course, kapag nagsusulong naman tayo ng batas, hindi man kasi dahil sa nabanggit sa Bible na masama ang isang bagay. Halimbawa, yung thou shall not steal, hindi ito yung basis natin kung bakit may mga batas tayo on property rights, di ba? On bakit bawal kumuha ng pag-aari ng ibang tao. So, ganun din dito sa divorce. As much as possible, kung merong secular arguments, which there are a lot of studies na masama ang divorce sa society, then ito yung dapat nating pinuput forth. Okay, so may mga ilan ditong pumukaw sa aking mata. Siguro magsasenda lang ako ng link dito sa document na ito para kayo na mismo yung bumasa. But may ilan ditong pumukaw sa aking mata. Sabi dito, we need to recognize that there is no perfect marriage. There are successful, meaningful, and fruitful ones because of God's grace and persevering efforts of married couples to make their relationship work. Yeah. Although, I would say na hindi lang naman lahat ng marriage ay itong mga masasayang marriage. I always say na marriage is not a black box na kapag pumasok kang malungkot, lalabas kang masaya. Because that's not the purpose of marriage. Siguro nasanay lang kasi tayo na kapag nagbabasa tayo ng fairy tales, ang ending is they lived happily ever after. And usually ang ending ng mga fairy tales, may mga kinakasal na prince and princess. And akala natin ang marriage ay ganun. You should live happily ever after. Pero part of marriage is carrying your cross. So, walang nagsabi na kailangan perfect ang marriage. Wala naman nag-claim nun, di ba? So, sabi dito, we need to acknowledge that there are married couples who ought not to have gotten married in the first place. And, di ba, that's what annulment is for? Kapag may mga couples na hindi naman dapat married in the first place. There are individuals who are incapable of any genuine commitment. Well, yun din. Kapag nag-commit ka sa start ng marriage mo, you made a vow, that's what annulment is for, yung mga psychological incapacity. And whenever you commit na hindi mo naman naiintindihan what you're committing for, I think sa canon law, there are a lot of grounds for this, di ba? And I agree. And in fact, dapat ang pinupush ni Ateneo are the adapt our civil law, our civil code, to adopt some variation of a canon law annulment dahil mas malawak ang grounds ng annulment sa canon law. So, there are even those who have shown themselves to be abusive of both their spouses and children. Sadly, many of these victims of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse continue to suffer. They even feel that they need to sacrifice their own happiness for the sake of their children. Well, di ba that's what really marriage should be about? Adult desires take a back seat for the sake of the children. And even yung mga gumagawa ng abuse, sana kung kaya ng kung hindi rin lang kayo mentally incapable of understanding that, kung hindi kayo dapat nakakulong or kung hindi kayo dapat nasa mental institution, you would think na dapat mapapakiusapan mo ang taong ito na unahin ang mga bata before your own adult desire. And ang question ko nga is, bakit nga itong mga abusive husbands, and I assume kasi marami naman sa mga nag-abuse ay mga lalaki. Ang question ko nga is, bakit wala pa sa piitan ang mga ito? Bakit wala sila sa drug rehab kung drug ang root cause? Bakit wala sila sa mental institutions kung talagang psychologically may problema ang kanilang utak? And I think the failure is the implementation of the Violence Against Women and Children law. Yung act na ito. And ang tanong ko is, nag-fail kayong hindi nyo ma-implement itong batas na ito, Violence Against Women and Children. So ang solusyon nyo ay mag-introduce ng panibagong batas. So, ganun ba? I think yun yung nangyari, di ba? It's like you're admitting na hindi kayang ipatupad tong violence against women and children. Kaya kailangan natin magkaroon ng divorce law. Okay, so moving on. Sabi dito, abusive marriages are not sacramental at all. And they would make a question of it if it's truly God who has joined them together. And marami namang marriage na hindi nga sacramental. Lahat ng mga marriage na hindi sa Catholic Church na institute na nagawa ang vow. So, definitely hindi sila sacramental. Many women in such difficult marriages find themselves financially and socially vulnerable and lacking in legal support. So, ito ngayon ang medyo question ko. Kasi we have legal separation, and then itong statement from Ateneo, sinasabi nila na maraming mga babae who find themselves financially and socially vulnerable and lacking in legal support kapag sineperate sila legally. Therefore, kailangan itong mga babae na to makasal ulit sa ibang lalaki para magkaroon sila ng legal support, social, financial. It's as if they're endorsing remarriage, which is, this is not a church position, yung remarriage. So, that's what I find problematic dito sa statement na ito ng Ateneo. Please explain to me. Parang yun yung labas kasi nung line na yon. The church, although may divorce sa ibang bansa, that's why, of course, some of the churches allow divorce, but the church doesn't allow remarriage. So, I don't know. And sinabi dito, marriage is not a theological issue. It's not an either or. Pwede namang both and, di ba? But let me just show some arguments against divorce. Secular arguments. So, alam niyo ba that fatherlessness is one of the greatest social pandemics in our world? So, ito yung source. Check out nyo lang. 1 of 3 children grow up without their biological father in their home. This creates emotional, psychological, and financial issues resulting in negative outcomes such as 71% of fatherless children drop out of high school. 85% of children who came from fatherless household exhibit behavioral disorders, making them 20 times more likely to have a behavioral disorder. Fatherless children are 5 times more likely to commit suicide, 32 times more likely to run away, 10 times more likely to abuse a chemical substance, 20 times more likely to end up in prison. And alam mo, if we're being honest, itong divorce bill na sinusulong sa legislative branch ng ating government ay pinang-front lang naman itong mga abusive relationships. Because ang totoo niyan, no-fault divorce ang kanilang pinupush, which is a vast majority ng divorce sa ibang bansa. Sa US, 2/3 ng mga divorces are low conflict. Hindi naman yung mga abusive relationships na high conflict. And if we're being honest, dapat ang sinusulong lang na divorce sa bansa is a fault-based system. And I think nandun yung conversation. Kung yun yung unang hinain nila, a fault-based divorce, baka marami pang makumbinsi na Catholics. Baka. Although many of the provisions of fault-based divorce systems ay nasa legal separation na din natin and annulment. Pero baka there's a serious discussion pa kapag fault-based divorce system ang sinusulong. Meaning, kapag abusive ka or sumakabilang bahay ka, ay malaki ang babayaran mo danyos dun sa spouse na agrabyado mo. Kapag sumakabilang bahay ka, halos wala kang pang simula ng bagong buhay dahil binayaran mo ng malaking halaga yung spouse na pinerwisyo mo. Dahil sa hindi mo tinupad ang iyong vow, malaki ang babayaran mo dun sa spouse na naagrabyado mo. So that's the fault-based divorce system. And the reason na this is something na pwedeng pag-usapan is because walang incentive to divorce. Dahil kapag nakipag-divorce ka, ikaw ang cause ng divorce, ikaw yung reason kung bakit nandun ang divorce, ay malaki ang babayaran mo sa naagrabyado mo. Walang incentive para sirain ang iyong pamilya. Pero ang sinulong ng Kongreso is a no-fault divorce system kung saan a simple, irreconcilable difference could lead to a dissolution of their marriage. And marami sa mga bata na naging epekto nitong no-fault divorce, naka-experience ng parents na nag-divorce na walang fault, are at a disadvantage. And ito nga, fatherlessness is one of the biggest pandemic in the world. There's a study also, taxpayer cost of divorce and unwed childbearing. So napakalaki. Billions of dollars ang ginagastos ng US each year para dito sa mga ito. Search nyo lang ito. Ito yung title ng study, The Taxpayer Cost of Divorce and Unwed Childbearing. So aside from that, ito dadagdag ko pa, father absence linked to early puberty among certain girls. And alam niyo ba na early puberty ng mga babae leads to teen pregnancies. And hindi nila ma-explain ang reason dito. It has something to do with an unrelated male figure na i-introduce mo sa household. Kunwari, yung mga babae, si mami nag-asawa ng ibang lalaki, and dahil sa pheromones na nalalanghap ng mga anak na babae ay nitong unrelated father figure is mas napapaaga ang kanilang pagregla. And may nakausap ako pro-divorce na kaibigan. Tinanong ko siya kasi itong kaibigan ko na ito, may 2 anak na babae. And binigyan ko siya ng hypothetical question. Tinanong ko siya kung payag ka ba na yung 2 anak mong babae titira. Halimbawa, itong si misis mo, naging ex mo na, papayag ka ba na itong 2 anak mong babae titira kasama itong bagong boyfriend or bagong mister ng misis mo na unrelated dun sa 2 anak mong babae? Medyo mahirap yun, di ba? Alright, so dito sabi naman, father involvement, dating violence, and sexual risk behaviors among national sample of adolescents females. So sabi dito, in their study of father absence on sexual initiation and teen pregnancies among sample of adolescent girls in the US, they found that father's absence uniquely contributes to the risk of early sexual activities and pregnancy among adolescent girls. Also, dagdag nyo pa na little children suffer because of cohabitation, and most of the abuses sa ibang bansa ay dahil sa mother's new boyfriend. So, cohabitation does not serve the best interest of children regardless of what the court says. And ito ang study. I think I showed this already in a different on another video. So search nyo lang, 4th National Incident Study of Child Abuse and Neglect. Sa married biological couples, ito mababa lang ang physical abuse. Ang physical abuse is 1.9 per 1,000 children. Sa single parent, medyo tumaas. But sa single parent with a partner ay napaka-taas. And this is what we're protecting when we strengthen the institution of marriage. And hindi lang naman si stepfather or si cohabiting boyfriend ang minsan nagkakasala. Minsan ang stepmother din mothers and others who invest in children's health. So, sabi dito, children living with stepmothers are significantly less likely to have routine doctor and dentist visits or to receive regular medical care and less likely to wear seat belts. So, search nyo lang to. Nandito ang link sa baba. Hindi ko sinasabi na hindi nag-exist ang malasantong stepmothers and stepfathers, but sa ibang bansa, lumalabas na parang outliers ang malasantong stepmothers and stepfathers. So, nabanggit natin na 2/3 of divorce are low conflict. And ayon dito sa study na to ni Paul Amato, the children who experienced the most stress from their parents' split were from those 2/3 of parents whose marriage were considered low conflict. So ito, effects of divorce on family relationships. So once nag-divorce ang parents is halos hindi na makikita ng mga anak nyo ang kanilang tatay. Kasi sa US, mas pinapaboran ang nanay sa custody battles. And si tatay, may obligation siya to sometimes visit yung mga anak. Pero it always leads to a decline of visits. Ito pa, there's a long-term psychosocial effects of parental divorce and sobrang daming studies. Parental separation in childhood is a risk factor for depression in adulthood. Then, meron dito kids of divorce and suicide. There's a new study that links them. Childhood trauma leads to lifelong chronic illness. So, why isn't the medical community helping patients? Divorce damages children's GCSEs. So, sa school yan. Okay, so, ang daming mga studies that say na divorce is not good for the society. And tama si Ateneo. It's not just a theological issue. It's a social issue, and we need to fight it with every breath that we can. Kaya, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this episode. And, ayun. I hope may mga manonood nito who would look further on these studies. Because ito yung masasabi ko. Those na pro-divorce, they have only one claim. They have one big argument, which is a valid argument. Paano tong mga abused wives? This is a valid argument. And yeah, we can discuss that. But you're ignoring these many studies that say na ang divorce naman has a lot of negative impact to the society. I don't see anyone responding to these studies. We're responding dun sa abused wife. Pero yung pro-divorce, I never see them respond to this. What about this? What about these children na iniwan ng tatay? What about these children na ang daming mga depression na risk of suicide, bumaba ang grades? What about those? So I don't hear a response to those studies. And yun nga, I hope there's more discussion about this bago tayo jump kagad sa water that has piranhas. So yun lang. This has been another episode of the Jay Aruga Show. At the end of the day, it will be night. Goodbye. Hi, this is Jay Aruga of the Jay Aruga Show. If you like what you just saw, please consider subscribing and smash that like button. We'll need all of your help to take back the culture from this ideological colonization of the West. Thank you.